Okay, think about your medicine cabinet for a second. You probably trust everything in there, right? But that trust, it isn't just a given. It's actually maintained by this invisible, global network of, believe it or not, detectives. They're constantly working behind the scenes to keep you safe. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and meet them.
I mean, it's a question that probably doesn't cross your mind very often. We assume the medicines we take are perfectly safe. But what happens when a new risk, something nobody saw coming, emerges after a drug is already out there on the market? Who's looking for that first, absolutely crucial clue?
And that is exactly where our story begins. There's this whole process called pharmacovigilance, which, look, it's a big word, but just think of it as a worldwide detective agency for medicine safety. Their entire job, day in and day out, is to hunt for the earliest, faintest clues that something might be, well, wrong.
So where does a massive global investigation like this even begin? Well, it all starts with finding that very first clue. And in their world, these detectives call it a safety signal.
A safety signal is, well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's an alert. It's that first piece of information that suggests, hey, there might be a potential new hazard here, or maybe a new twist on a known side effect. It's the very first whisper that something could be off.
Now, this is super important. A signal is not proof. It is not a final verdict. Think of it more like an alarm bell going off. It's a hypothesis, right? It's the investigator saying, we've seen a few reports of headaches with this new drug. We should probably investigate this. It's the starting point, not the finish line.
And these clues can point to all kinds of different things. Maybe it's a side effect nobody's ever seen before. Or it could be a known side effect that's suddenly way more severe. It might even pinpoint a specific group of people, say the elderly, who are at a higher risk. It could even reveal that a drug just isn't working the way it's supposed to. So yeah, a single signal can be packed with information.
Okay, so our detectives have their clue. What happens next? Well, this is where a single alarm bell can explode into a full-blown global investigation. And look, this is not a job for one person, or even just one country. The whole investigation is coordinated from a central hub, the World Health Organization's Uppsala Monitoring Center, which is in Sweden. You can think of them as the headquarters for this massive international drug monitoring program.
And they follow a really clear four-step process. First up, detection. That's when the alarm is raised. Then, evaluation. This is where experts dig in to see if the link between the drug and the side effect is credible. If it looks legit, they move to step 3, communication. They share what they found with health authorities all over the world. And that leads to the final, most important step, taking action to protect patients. So you're probably wondering, where do all these clues even come from? The answer is, pretty much everywhere. They come from spontaneous reports filed by doctors and patients. Yeah, maybe even someone like you or me. They pull clues from clinical trials, from big academic studies, even from animal research. It's basically a massive intelligence-gathering operation.
Now think about it. To connect the dots between all these clues coming from millions of people all over the planet, well, you can't just use a simple spreadsheet. No way. You need a truly colossal database of evidence.
And this just shows you the scale we're talking about. The WHO's global database is called VigiBase, and it has over 35 million individual adverse event reports in it. Let that sink in. 35 million. It's one of the most powerful tools these medical detectives have in their arsenal. And this is why it's such a game changer. Having that much data allows investigators to spot patterns that would be completely invisible otherwise. I mean, a single report from one country, that might just seem like a fluke, a one-off. But when you see 1,000 similar reports coming in from 50 different countries, well, suddenly you start to see the bigger picture.
All right, so the clue's been found, it's been investigated using this incredible database. But what's the verdict? How does all this behind-the-scenes work actually keep us safe?
Well, the outcome isn't always as dramatic as you might think, like yanking a drug off the market completely. In fact, that's pretty rare. More often, the action is something like issuing a public warning, or updating the little information leaflet that comes with the medicine, or maybe changing the recommended dosage. The key thing is, the response is always tailored specifically to the risk.
Really, the whole goal of this system, from that very first signal all the way to the final action, is to build a smart risk management plan. It's all about finding the right balance, to minimize harm and just make sure that the medicines we all rely on are being used as safely as they possibly can be.
When you get down to it, this whole thing is the invisible safety net that allows us to trust our medicines. It's what uncovers those hidden dangers. It gives regulators the hard evidence they need to act, and it protects millions and millions of us from potential harm every single day.
So we've kind of come full circle. The next time you open your medicine cabinet and reach for that bottle of pills, maybe just take a second. Remember that there's this global team of detectives who have vetted it, who are still monitoring it, and who are working 24/7 to keep you safe.
It's a pretty fascinating and absolutely vital system, right? And it kind of makes you wonder what other invisible safety systems are out there quietly protecting us in ways we never even think about.